Okay, here's the bottom line. The right to privacy was protected in the Constitution, and of course the word privacy, if you Google this thing, you'll find all these right-wing websites saying the word privacy doesn't appear in the Constitution. The main reason why they're promoting that, some of them are just like, basically fascistic sites. Others are all freaked out about the fact that the Supreme Court back in the early 70s in Roe v. Wade, I think it was 73, said that the right to privacy in the Constitution justifies a woman's right to choose to have an abortion. And then they go off to say, well, the word privacy doesn't actually exist in the Constitution, so how can you come to that conclusion? But the reason the word itself, privacy, doesn't exist in the Constitution was because in 1787, when the Constitution was written, if somebody said that they wanted to go to the outhouse, they would say, "Excuse me, I need some privacy." In fact, the bathroom was referred to, or the toilet or the outhouse was referred to as the privy. A century later, in the late 1800s, when Thomas Crapper popularized the flush toilet in the UK, it came to be called the crapper. Now we call them toilets. Now we call them bathrooms, WCs, water closets, all kinds of things. But back then, the word was privacy for bowel functions, basically. So, of course, they're not going to use the word privacy. Its usage was different. The usage was the word security. But in the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, that's Amendment number 1. Amendment number 4, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. And no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Now, these guys had just lived under an oppressive government. They had just lived under a government that asserted that it could even quarter soldiers in your home. Thus, the Third Amendment, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in any manner to be prescribed by law. They had the British government coming in and saying, not only can we go through your papers, not only can we invade your house, not only can we read your mail, the equivalent of reading people's email today or listening to their phone conversations, not only can we shut down your right to a public assembly, not only can we arrest you for meeting in public to discuss what you're up to politically, we can even put a soldier in your home who will listen to everything that goes on in your home. Thus came the right to privacy in the United States. And frankly, it concerns me. People say, well, you're not doing anything to be worried about. Why do you care about privacy? Well, because the day may come when the government, like happened in Peru with Fujimori, when the government decides that what you're doing is worthy of sending an execution squad after you, or is at the very least worthy of imprisoning you. Or a situation like in China where pretty much everybody is committing some kind of a crime. It's illegal to leave where you live without the permission of the government, yet the government doesn't routinely grant that permission. About a third of the country are now immigrants, economic immigrants, illegally. So pretty much anybody can be thrown into jail any time if selective enforcement of the laws has happened with Governor Don Siegelman under the Bush administration. He was convicted of appointing a guy to a hospital commission who 2 previous Republican governors had put on the hospital commission, an unpaid position, by the way, and a guy who had never given any money to Don Siegelman or to his campaign, but who gave money to a fund to have a state lottery that would support education, that was opposed by Jack Abramoff and the Indian tribes he represented. So the Bush administration went after him. Selective enforcement. We need the right to privacy in the United States. It is the most essential of all. And yet here we have the Obama administration not only taking the Bush administration position that the government has the right to listen into every one of your phone conversations, whether you have anything to do with terrorism or not, and to read all of your email and to track all of your web activity. Not only are they taking that position, but they're taking the position that you and I and the Electronic Freedom or Frontier Foundation in this case doesn't even have the right to sue under the Constitution to find out what is being searched upon. Now, again, the Obama administration may be entirely benign, but what happens once they've established this as law, and the cycle comes around again, and we get another George Bush, or God forbid, we get an Alberto Fujimori? Now, at the same time, here's what's so interesting about it. At the same time that you've got people like me who are concerned about the future of the Constitution talking about it, liberals talking about this, you've got conservatives freaking out, but they're freaking out in a way that is very toxic and is leading to things like mass murder. And this is where we get into the whole Glenn Beck thing and Wayne LaPierre and all this sort of thing. I'll share, and Dick Morris. I'll share a couple clips of that with you after that, and then we'll open the lines. Your calls, 866-987-TOM. How do we restore privacy in the United States? Or is it an archaic notion?